Hi, this is Paul in the 619. Thank you for visiting my channel. Today I'm going to talk about an aspect of Dungeons and Dragons that I'm really into, and that's miniatures. Miniatures have been part of D&D from the very beginning, created by Gary Gygax and Dave Arnson. And the game is the roots comes from tabletop wargaming, and tabletop wargaming they used miniatures to simulate battles. So it's only natural that D&D would get into miniatures. The first miniatures to come out came out in the 70s, and they were pewter lead figures, and kind of look like this. The earliest miniatures were made by company Archive, and then later, as time went on, there was companies that I'm familiar with, Grenadier, Chainmail, and for me, the ones I thought were the best were Rel Partha. When I was a kid, collecting lead figures, Rel Partha was the one that I was kind of chasing. But later on in 2003, Wizards of the Coast, they started producing their own miniatures, and they were 30mm scale, and there was about 20 sets, and they made them from 2003 to 2011. First set being Harbinger, and I believe the last set being Lords of Madness. And over the years, I've pretty much got rid of all my pewter figures. You know, the thing with the pewter figures, when you get them, they're unpainted, and I wasn't really into into painting the figures. You know, you definitely need patience and a steady hand, and that's something I didn't have, mainly the patience part. But when Wizards of the Coast started coming out with these sets, the sets came between like 40 to 60 per set. Harbinger, the original, they had 80 miniatures, and they were pretty much in kind of like mystery boxes. It was kind of like opening up a pack of baseball cards. You didn't know what you were going to get, and that was half the fun. So, for example, the 30mm, like this is this would be like a human, and then this would be like a giant. So that would be kind of like the scale they would be in. And you know, over the years, when they came out with these sets, I was kind of addicted to them. You know, I needed to get all of them, all the ones I could get my hands on, and they were highly collectible. They also came with like stat cards, because initially when the miniatures came out, it was kind of part of a game. It was kind of like you know, you'd get your characters and they would have stats, and you would fight other monsters depending on what the stats were. So, but I never got into that. I pretty much just used the miniatures for my regular Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game, my campaign with my friends. So, but yeah, like for example, I mean, they came out with stuff like this, like trebuchet, a version of a catapult, and then they came out with giants. This is a frost giant. This is a fire giant. And then they had a stone giant, and then they came out with a frost giant on a giant mammoth. I mean, the detail on these things are just insane. And I feel as the sets kept on coming out, they just got better and better. And that's like a storm giant. And then we got things like a sphinx and a giant bird called a roc, R-O-C. And then, of course, what's Dungeons and Dragons without dragons? And then pretty much every monster that they came out with in the books, it was represented with a miniature. And let me just show you a few more. This is a beholder. I believe this is a tyrant beholder. Let me read the bottom. Ultimate tyrant. And then this beholder right here is probably one of the first beholders to ever come out. And like I said earlier, they ended up being very collectible. Hobbyists of Dungeons and Dragons were collecting these, and like the common ones, because they came in common, uncommon, and rare. And pretty much a number of the rare ones were really sought after. And I mean, they were going for like 40, 50 bucks. But you could get the common ones for like 2 or 3. And that's good because, like, for example, like this orc. I mean, I have about 60 of this type of orc. And, you can never have enough orcs, right? So I had like 60 of these, and the good thing about the common ones, you could get them for like $2, $3 a piece. But and then they got the big guys, the big miniatures, like a hydra and a purple worm, and they all came in like these boxes. Like I said, they're like mystery boxes, and the mystery boxes, if some guys that would buy the boxes, you could actually fill the box, and some of those guys, they knew what miniature would be in the box, the large ones. As far as the mystery box, it'd come with one large, and then like 4 like small to medium figures that would go with that large. But like, they came out with like ropers and wargs. Oh, I don't know if I showed that one. And the detail on these are awesome. So, the thing with the miniatures, I mean, besides, having, a nice looking representation of the monster that you're playing against, you would actually use these in game. And how you would do that is you would make a grid map that was to scale to the miniatures. So just like in wargaming, you would use those miniatures in a way where you could track the battle by movement and positioning. So yeah, I actually think the miniatures were very essential to playing D&D. Yeah. And I mean, they came up with so many different kinds. I mean, like guards, and this is kind of like a orc leader. And then like a northern barbarian, and kind of like a thief. So, like I said, the thing with the miniatures, I mean, the variety and the detailing. I mean, it's something that I'm a fan of, and a part of D&D that I'm really into. So thank you for watching my video. I'd appreciate if I could get a thumbs up and a subscribe. And yeah, I really I do appreciate you guys coming and watching. And thank you very much. All right, peace.